Please be seated. So welcome to the first assembly of MBA's 156th year, our 22-23 academic year. I am really happy to have a friend here today who will talk to us about the boy who harnessed the wind, and we'll do that in a little bit. Most of all, I just hope you have a great year. I had a text early this morning from a mother who said, I just want to wish you a great day on the first day of your last year. And I thought to myself, well, I really want to say that I want to wish you a great day in this year. And that's my goal, is just to make this year enjoyable for you and to work together with you. There are a few topics that I need to talk about just to reinforce, I think, what's obvious to most of you. Time. Please be accountable for your daily schedule. Being here on time, being in this room. Mr. Sawyer and I talked yesterday, said to one another that probably take a few extra minutes today, because it's the first time we've used this particular setup at an assembly. You did a great job, incidentally. Secondly, I hope you'll have some great aspirations, and they don't just happen because you say, you know, I want to have a great year, obviously. They happen because you write some things down. And just so I kind of model what I'm telling you, I literally worked on particular goals that I wanted to achieve this year with you and for the school. Hope you'll do the same. You'll hear next week from Browning Trainer. He and I were just talking about the honor system. Obviously, we believe in being honorable. It is a hallmark of the school, and it only is going to work if you embody it. So I hope you'll remember that when you get behind, when you're worried about something, that your honor is more important than a fast, cheap way, perhaps, to do well. And we expect you to be well behaved, both here at school and outside of school. And you and I and the faculty, we represent the school in a lot of ways. So I hope you'll also think about that as you live each week. I hope you'll be really supportive of one another. I think that is also inherent to the ideal of the school, but it is really important. And supportive may mean that you see somebody eating lunch by himself and you say, I'm going to go sit with that person. Or you see somebody that just seems a little down and you go up to him and you say, you know, is there something I can do to help you? And I think that will make this a better community. I've talked to a number of the classes about security. You know, we have guards on the campus really around the clock. And as beautiful an area as this, we are not immune to problems, as many of you know, with the recent violent crime in the neighborhood. So be on the lookout. If you see something that just doesn't seem right to you, let somebody know that can help. Certainly let one of the security guards know. And I think we're fortunate in having some wonderful security guards that care about you. Break times, take care of the school, enjoy the break times. Go, you know, a lot of meetings happen then, but make that a good period. Build a good rapport with your advisor this year. It's a two-way street, and I hope that you will think about ways to strengthen those relationships and make that an important part of the school. I used the phrase in a number of the meetings we had in registration about being known, cared for, seen, and I hope that you'll think about that statement in terms of knowing people, caring for them, and seeing who they are on a basis that respects their humanity. And lastly, it would be somewhat obligatory to talk about the ideal. The word gentleman is, I think, such a handy, effective way to talk about subjects that are rich and meaningful. We've been talking much more about the sort of softer values of being compassionate and empathetic and respectful and kind. So I hope you'll remember that ideal. Obviously, I think you know what scholarly pursuits are and athletic pursuits. And we've expanded that last part of the ideal by saying, with this building, you've got to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. So let's make it a great year together. I want to recognize two students who've just gotten their Eagle Scout. So would Colin Dorelli and Nathaniel Nelson please stand? Let's give them a round of applause. I want to recognize 4 exchange students, and I want to say that we are really glad to have exchange students and feel as if we hope, moving into a much more normal period than what COVID was for all of us. First 3 from France, from the Le Soc School Lycée in the south of France, Jules Lespine, Pierre Baron, Martin Agede. If they'd please stand, let's welcome them. Oh, there they are back there. And Felix, are you here this morning? If you'd stand, yeah, you are here. So Felix, there he is. So this is a great story. He and his family know this well. They came by a few weeks ago, and we all thought they were coming by to say thanks for the year you spent with us. And they, of course, did that. And later that day, I got a call from Felix's dad when I think you were on your way to Atlanta, and they said that Felix would really like to come back for his next 2 years. So we said, we'll work that out. And so we're really glad you're here, Felix. It's great to see you. Miss Hollyfield sent me some information that should go on the screens right now about art recognitions that happened really at the end of the year. First, Teens Take the Frist is a juried show requiring students to respond to a call that came, as I said, just a few weeks before we got out of school. 13 of our students were chosen to be in this exhibit. And then the next slide is about the Young Tennessee Artist. Selections from advanced studio art programs is a biennial exhibition that showcases some of the finest 2D artwork by students in advanced placement art. Students were chosen to exhibit their work in the Conte Community Art Gallery at the Frist Museum, September 2nd to February 12th. So you can go down there and see their art. And also, Dr. Rader sent me a note the other day about the trip the juniors took last Saturday by kicking off their school year at Holiday World and Splashing Safari in Santa Claus, Indiana. 150 students from Harpeth Hall and MBA enjoyed a beautiful day in the sun. Thanks to the class, officers for their work, and to Dr. Kinch and Mr. Tate for chaperoning. I'm going to introduce Chris Bradford now. Some of you may recall that in 2020, in October, I believe, he made a presentation. This is when we were in COVID, and he did it virtually from Johannesburg. We've known each other about 15 years, and we first got to know each other when we were working on a school project in Bratislava, Slovakia. A school called the Leaf School. I don't know, we actually may have, what may predate that work is that I did some work at the school he founded with a great friend of his called the African Leadership Academy. And so we went there, and I guess I got to know Chris first there. Prior to Chris's work at the African Leadership Academy, he grew up in Michigan, went to Yale University, was a swimmer there. We were just talking with one of the students about his interest in swimming and sisters that has been swimming at Yale. After college, he worked for a big company, and then he started teaching at a school in England called Oundle with a mutual friend of ours. And then Chris went to Stanford, where he met his friend, and the two of them hatched this idea of building a school that would build leaders in Africa. And I think they founded the school and attracted students from almost 50 different countries in Africa. And it's a great story. And obviously it ties into our all-school read because William is a student they met who was in Malawi at the time, almost no formal education. And the school decided their mission would be to find these really bright, curious people. And before we talked about a school theme, I called Chris and I said, what do you think would work well with the book? And he talked about agency and authorship and how William was such a great example of someone who had agency, that he knew what he needed to do and he did it. He didn't depend on somebody sort of helping him get things done. He decided to do so. And some of you know that after this great journey at ALA, the African Leadership Academy, Chris was asked to be the president of the Moorhead Kane Foundation in North Carolina, where he's been for a year plus. And he and his family have enjoyed living in Chapel Hill. And I'm really glad they're nearby. It allows him to make these quick trips down to Nashville. So please join me in welcoming my friend, Chris Bradford.
Thank you, Brad. Hello, Montgomery Bell Academy. Welcome to a new school year, or as we would always say at the start of a new school year in Johannesburg, Sawubona. Welcome. There are few things more exciting for me than walking the campus of a great school. There are few feelings more hopeful than walking the campus of a great school on its first day back. Surrounded by potential, by optimism, by opportunity. Here, you all have the opportunity to go to one of the schools I most admire, not just in Tennessee or in America, but in the entire world. And I congratulate you on your achievements, but also celebrate the many things to come, challenges and opportunities in the year ahead. At the start of an ALA school year, we always begin with a mantra, which I would like to share with you and ask that you please repeat after me. Part 1, you deserve to be here. Part 2, here deserves you to be. To be. You deserve to be here, but here, Montgomery Bell, this community deserves you to be in your richest, fullest, most true form, not to be perfect, but to be you. And I hope that you will be in your fullest over the course of the year ahead. So the young man here, William Kamkwamba, is someone, as Mr. Joya knows, that I had the opportunity to first learn about in 2006. At the time, I was a very young man with an idea of building an educational institution, an institution that would identify the most promising young leaders across the continent of Africa, bring them together for their last 2 years of high school on a campus in South Africa, and then send them off to great universities all over the world, where they could continue to prepare to return to Africa and lead change. This was our vision. We would develop the next generation of African leaders. And to do so, we would need to identify young people with extraordinary promise. In 2006, we received an email from a gentleman who was preparing the first ever TED conference in Africa. And he said he was looking for stories of young people with ideas of innovation and potential, things that they had brought to life, new designs that might be interesting to showcase at TED. TED, after all, is an acronym for technology, entertainment, and design. So he sent out this call for ideas, and he reached out to us because he knew we were seeking to recruit students. We told him a few places where he might look. And then a few weeks later, he sent back to us a newspaper article. The front page of the primary national newspaper in Malawi, which is published in Lilongwe, the capital of Malawi, and it had a picture of a young man who had built a windmill. It had this picture. And it celebrated this young man, William Konkwamba, who had built a windmill in his rural village of Wimbe, Malawi. The gentleman from TED wrote us the email and said, "Thanks for your nominations. Someone just sent me this newspaper article. Perhaps you should go and find him." And so, off to Malawi we went, and to Wimbe we went, and we found this young man named William, who indeed had built a windmill that was delivering power in his village. We felt that if ALA wasn't for William, a middle school dropout, who would we be for? And we have been reminded in knowing William of the vast potential of humans. William, when we tested him, tested at the 5th grade level in English and at the 8th grade level in math. He would be coming to a coeducational boarding school with aspirations to send you to great universities. Many people told us that we would not be able to effectively serve William. But indeed, he came to ALA for 2 years. While he was there, he wrote The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. He was admitted to Dartmouth, and he graduated in 4 years from Dartmouth with a degree in environmental engineering. William's story reminds all of us that what matters in life is not position, but trajectory. What matters in life is not position, but trajectory. Often in college admissions, for example, we ask, what is someone's SAT scores? What are their grades? You probably often measure yourself in your position relative to your peers. But what matters is trajectory. After all, if you're here in Nashville and I'm in Chapel Hill and we're both trying to get to Memphis, who will get there first? Who will get there first? We don't know. Why do we not know? Because it's who will get there first is a function not of where we start, but of our velocity and our acceleration. If I take a plane from Chapel Hill to Memphis and you take a car or choose to walk from Nashville to Memphis, I will almost surely arrive in Memphis before you do. William's story reminds us of the importance of trajectory. How do you cultivate your own trajectory? So I'd like to share a few insights that I have as I read The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind and reflect on my own journey with William and some of the enablers of his trajectory and what that has unlocked for his community and for himself. Could I see the next slide, please? So this is the picture I took when I arrived in William's village for the first time. It's of a profoundly human experience. Young people kicking a soccer ball in a field. It is something that all of us have probably done. William, in his book, talks about the fact that one thing he realized is that all children are fundamentally the same. They're all deeply curious. They're all interested in the world around them. They tinker and create toys. They kick soccer balls. Incidentally, William is quite a good soccer player. As I look at this photo, I'm reminded of our profound human connectedness, which is something that William is always reminded of and never forgets. We'll talk a little at the end about the work William is doing today, but I ask you to remember that just because you are in a beautiful facility does not mean that you are fundamentally unique or different from other people who are kicking a soccer ball in Windmills, Malawi, or anywhere else in the world. We are profoundly connected with a deeply shared human experience. William recognized his connectedness, but was also immensely curious. He discovered the idea of a dynamo. Even though he was a high school dropout, he wanted to try to listen to the radio, and he created a bicycle-driven radio, right? His first question was, how can I listen to the radio so my friend Jeffrey and I can dance? That evolved into, how might I use this thing that I have built to serve my community? And William's curiosity is boundless. When you come into his village, if I could see the next slide, the first thing you see in front of his house is his original windmill. But when you turn around on the next slide, you see that that was just a prototype. Over the course of 2 years, William kept building and building and building new windmills, honing his design, learning through trial and error, advancing his invention. The story does not stop when a windmill is created. The spark of curiosity continues. That curiosity, that drive to answer a question, how could this be better? How could this be better still? Is what allows William to become William. It's what allows a community to have electricity today that never had electricity before. There are windmills all through the community of Malawi, all built by William. And the amazing thing that happened when I arrived is that William, after I picked him up, said, "Hey, would you mind driving me to this place so that I can buy a new magnet?" And I drove him to a little village shop about 10 miles away, and he bought a magnet with a stack of Malawian kwacha bills that is about this high, because the biggest bill in Malawi is only worth about $3. And he comes back, and we bring the magnet, and next slide, he says, "Let's build a windmill." Recognizing his connectedness to me and the opportunity to build a new windmill, William brought a piece of PVC pipe. We cut the PVC pipe to create curved blades that would then turn that large magnet in the middle and create his highest powered windmill yet. He never stops exploring. He's found something that he's interested in. William is not looking for a grade. His first windmill was a grade A effort. William is seeking something deeper. He is building towards excellence, fostering continuous improvement. He is ambitious. He asks, what might I do with this, and how might I improve this? Next slide, please. Today, William has turned his work into a nonprofit called the Moving Windmills Project, and he builds affordable technology for young people all over Malawi. After going to Dartmouth, after writing a best-selling book, after optioning the script to Chiwetel Ejiofor to create a movie, He put all of that money into a project that would allow him to continue to design new technologies that could improve the lives of young people across Malawi. He's a deeply inspiring individual and also a profoundly humble one. When I think of William, I think of someone who recognizes our connectedness. I think of someone who is profoundly curious. I think of someone who is deeply ambitious. I think of someone who has cultivated his own trajectory. I think of someone who has recognized from a very young age, despite having access to very little, materials in a scrap heap, that he had agency. As you read the book, you easily recognize all of the things that William didn't have. It's easy for us to engage with William's story through imagining and recognizing his deficits. But when you meet William, and maybe when you reread the book, you see his profound recognition of all the things he did have. The ways in which he had relationships with others, the ways in which he and his family had respect in the community. These were assets that he was able to use to make his life and the lives of others better. William did not simply wait for others to solve problems. William recognized that the capability lay within himself to lean into a challenge and to make the world better. As you embark on this year, you deserve to be here. Here deserves you to be. Remember the agency that each of you carries into your engagements in this place and in your community every single day. Cultivate your trajectory. Choose to be curious. Get to know and connect with others. And remember that just as if you met William on the street of Nashville some years ago, you might not pay that young man with 5th grade English and 8th grade math much attention. Remember that hidden in all of us is immense potential. All the best for a new school year. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Mr. Joya, for the inspiration, guidance, and wisdom you've shared with me over the course of my career. I'm deeply grateful for all you've given to me.
So it's really great to bring a book to life and to have this personal connection. Chris will be around just for a little bit. He's actually flying to Johannesburg to go back to ALA for a couple of days, but he'll be here for about another hour if you'd like to visit with him either after assembly or within the next hour. I think somebody from the Envirothon is going to come up and make a presentation. Is that right, Mr. Spiegel? So the Envirothon did really well last spring and won the honor of going to the Nationals, and they're going to talk about their competition.
From July 24th to 29th, the NBA Envirothon team, consisting of Michael Kong, Whit Uden, Noah Higgs, Alex Owings, and Harrison Zoller, attended the National Envirothon competition at Miami University in Ohio.
The competition included tests in forestry, soils, aquatics, wildlife, and a current issue, which this year was waste as a resource, in addition to a final oral presentation.
Our team representing Tennessee placed 8th in the nation, the highest Tennessee has ever placed at this competition.
Next year's tournament is going to take place in Nova Scotia, Canada, and we hope to see 49 other United States there, as well as 4 teams from Canada and 4 teams from China. It will be an international competition, and if you've ever wanted to give glory to NBA, this can be an international conquest. So I may be fact-checked on this. I don't know if NBA has ever taken a trophy from a different country, but we are certainly hoping to do that. As Alex Owings stated, we placed 8th internationally in this competition, which is Tennessee State history. And none of us has ever been to nationals before. So we are looking for other people to join our team. If you have any interest in environment whatsoever, I'll be honest, it's a very academic-based club and it's a very academic-based tournament. But if you have any experience in hunting or fishing, if you have a skilled labor job such as construction, a florist, anything else that involves knowledge, it comes easy. Water quality, soil quality, and everything else that applies to the normal day life is required from this competition. So if you have any interest whatsoever, we're going to have a booth at the activity fair next week, but otherwise just please reach out. We're taking anyone from any grade. Seniors are allowed to go, and we certainly hope to see you.
On behalf of the Envirothon team, I'd like to present this 8th place plaque to Mr. Joy and the school. Thanks a lot.
Middleton Henry has organized a chess tournament. Middleton, please come up and make a brief announcement so we can try to stay on schedule. And while he's coming up, remember, if you want to do an assembly announcement, please see me by Friday. Please make sure the tech people get whatever you need. And we're going to reserve some seats over to my right if you're making announcements so that you can have an easy access up here to the podium.
Hey everyone, I'm Middleton, and I'm an organizer for the NBA Chess Club. To kick off the school year, we are hosting a national chess tournament this Saturday for 5th through 12th graders. This will be our first NBA chess tournament in 3 years. If you wish to join, then come to the dining hall at 8 a.m. this Saturday. You can register through the National Chess Center website, and there will be a $20 entrance fee. We will have Chick-fil-A and snacks to purchase. I look forward to seeing you there.
Okay, and the last announcement, Cooper, Coleman, Walker, and Thomas, I don't know if all or one of you is going to come up, but they're in charge of the Spirit Group, and they just sort of wanted to kick off the year with a quick announcement about that. As you know, our first game, which obviously involves a lot of their spirit work, is this Friday night at Ravenwood.
Hey everybody, I'm Walker Stevens, and these are all the student section leaders this year. We plan to get very rowdy this year. We want a lot of people at the games. Friday, we play Ravenwood, at Ravenwood. So if y'all need any rides or anything, just let me know. Email one of us, we can help y'all out. But we want everyone there, it'll be very fun.
So the theme for Friday is a whiteout. Last year was a big game against Ravenwood. They're a really good team. They have some good players. So we need everybody to be really rowdy and come out to the game, cheer for our team, not against the other team, wear something white.
Yeah, I can really think of nothing else you should be doing Friday night, to be completely honest. It's time to get super loud for the boys. There's nothing better than being weird in the student section with your best friends, so show out.
Roll Red.
So next week, next Monday, I'll have some information about the start of the golf season, but I wanted to end assembly on this personal note. A number of you know that Susan Squires Davenport is going to leave us. And she has been a staple at NBA for 20 years, working with Sage, but more importantly, working with all of you, knowing you personally, her care, her sense of hospitality, I think most of all her insight about making people seen, known, and cared for is something very special. We will miss her incredibly so. She will be here the next 3 days, so you have a great opportunity to say thanks and goodbye. She's gotten a terrific job at Lipscomb University, which will allow her to have maybe a little bit more time on her hands, and she will also hope to see Jackson Francis, who will be at Lipscomb this year. So I thought it would be important to recognize her today and give you a chance to see her. Let's give her a round of applause. She deserves it. Thanks. Great. All right, well, do your best to let her know about that appreciation today, Thursday, and Friday. Thanks a lot for your attention today.